is. You would have known that, but I can't see a picture. So it shut off on me yesterday in the middle of the ride. I don't know where this music I'm listening to in my headphones is coming from, but it's not what I put on. So I think I'm going to stop again and put the right music on. So this is the end of this part of American Way. Okay. Kept playing one song over and over again. Okay, that should take care of that. So we're coming up on the Rail Ranch Parkway. We're turning right or going east. And we're taking this to the very first street. And we're taking a bypass over to Felix. Then we're going up and down Felix, or down and up and back. Put a few extra miles on where there's a nice bike lane. and to get in a teeny little hill that's on Felix where we start. So several of my kids came up with the idea of calling my videos crime cycle, and then discuss a different criminal case I was involved in. In each video clip. I did spend 18 and a half years in law enforcement from 1971 to 1989. And admittedly was involved in a few very interesting cases. As one of my friends in law enforcement used to say, "You people never cease to amaze me." In reference to the general public that he came in contact with on a daily basis. Essentially, if there's anything stupid, dumb, or weird that you would think people would never do or shouldn't do, they would do it. So as an example, I'd stop at McDonald's either to get a meal or drink. I don't remember which. And there was this young gentleman with a Volkswagen that needed help changing the tire. And his theory was that he didn't need a jack. All he had to do was pull off the left rear wheel, and because the car already had 3 wheels, it would remain standing. So as you might expect, and what he didn't expect, was that Volkswagen came tumbling to the ground on that wheel. And of course, once that wheel is all the way on the ground, it becomes much more difficult to raise it back up. Put the tire back on. And that young man was just amazed that that vehicle did not stay balanced with that wheel off. talk about how sometimes kids don't understand life nowadays. This was back around 1975 to 1980. So we're going down the only hill in the area. There are other hills. We did come up one small one. But this is the biggest one in the area, immediately around where I live. But the road ends right here, and so does the hill. And we turn around and go back up. So here we go. I gotta catch my breath again. So, if you can't tell by the fact that I was a police officer in 1971, I'm not a spring chicken. And turned 73 this year. Last year, I had 3 heart procedures in the first half of the year. One where I had 90% blockage in my main artery. I believe they call it lateral descending, where they put 5 stents in the entire length of the artery. Then a month later, put 1 large stent in the other main artery. And then about 3 or 4 months later, I had a pacemaker installed. Now, pacemaker was because I would go out riding my bike, and after a period of time, my heart would just start going down, and my heart rate monitor would show I was beating, my heart was only beating 50 times per minute while I was out of breath. And what was happening was my heart was just choosing to pause in between beats. which obviously confused my heart rate monitor. So now it makes sure I don't go below a certain point, and if it gets beyond a certain point, it starts assisting. As soon as it receives a pause, it causes that to beat. Kind of a little interesting way to live. So this is Merrill Ranch Parkway, where we'll be turning when we come back. We're following Felix up. To where it hits the railroad tracks and the bike lane ends at that point. So the power meter readings that you see on this ride are brand new for me. I just bought new pedals. I think they're Fefero, Asimio, or something like that. Excuse the pronunciation. Very simple to put on. I can change them between my bikes. And gives a fairly accurate reading. From all the reviews I read, more accurate than the Garmin. At a lower price tag. So far I like it. I can tell when I'm not putting any effort in. And I can also tell when I'm putting an effort in. But I'm embarrassed to say I can't output a lot of power. Yeah, got a train up here where I make my U-turn. So I'm going to make a turn before, because all the traffic is going to be blocking me as soon as it starts. So, I normally go 100 yards further. Here we go, into the headwind. Or a crosswind, I can't tell. my equipment, I'm riding a giant Road E right now, but I also have a Cannondale. Carbon fiber bike that I built up that has Durace it's not wireless, but electronic shifting. I really like that. I like it because one, it just shifts, and two, the cables never need to be adjusted. So once you adjust it, that's normally it. So I always ride with a headlight, and I run it on flashing in the day. Very seldom ride at night. I also have usually two tail lights that are flashing. And then I have the Garmin rear view radar. I have a Garmin 1000. I'd like the 1030 plus, but this does everything I need it to do. I just like the longer battery life on the other one. So we're coming up here on Merrill Ranch Parkway. That's the next right. And we'll be turning westbound on the parkway. So on this bike I run tubeless tires. I run normally about 42 to 44 pounds of pressure in the tire. I had trouble finding ones that didn't leak in the sides. And I wanted a heavier duty tire because I have to ride in the dirt some of my rides in my neighborhood. So I wanted the wider tire. I really like the tubeless setup. Haven't had a flat on these, thank goodness. But the last setup I had with tubeless, I did destroy the rear tire running over something sharp. That was the end of that ride. For food and hydration, I carry 1 to 3 water bottles. And I use the 24 milliliter, or 24 ounce rather, metal water bottles. I think these are thermo flask with straw. I have them both ways. Thought I'd like the ones without a straw better, but I don't. I don't like tilting my head up that much when I'm riding. So if I go on a long ride and carry 3 bottles, I carry juice in one of the bottles. And I found that with ice in each of the bottles, I've never had the ice melt before I finish drinking the bottle. And I live in Arizona where temperatures go way over 100, but Admittedly, I don't like to ride over 100. But I do ride in the warm weather. It's nice having cool water. I like that. So for food to eat, I sometimes carry some of these edible